Oh, yes. This is the Hardcore Marketing Show. I am Casey Cheshire, your host for this epic journey. And today's show, we have a sponsor. Holy cow. Cheshire Impact, on a mission to help you maximize your use of what? Pardot and Salesforce. But bam, CheshireImpact.com. Pow. So, today's guest, so excited to introduce you. He's a marketing leader. He's there. He's the guy. He's a fearless 50 marketer. He's the VP of marketing at Vidyard, a chalk talker, a wise sage, and a podcast host himself. Tyler Lessard, how are you, sir?
Oh, you are too kind, my friend. I am fabulous. I am super excited about this conversation. I've been living in this world for a while now, and I got a lot to say. So it's good to be here, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. It's an honor. I mean, Vidyard, we've worked with you guys. We've seen you. You're a huge player. I know you've got some things you've announced and whatnot. But I want to remind people the theme and why you're such a great. I'm so glad you're here to help us with this theme. The theme really is around personalization. There's this roadmap. We've been trying to help people down this pathway. You get a tool like marketing automation. We don't want you to just batch and blast like MailChimp. Come on. We want you to actually use the tool, right? Actually use it. So we created a step-by-step roadmap, and we have getting to know our buyer. We have, different stages, ROI tracking, all sorts of cool things we've talked about every different month. And now we're on the month. It's a fun one. It's personalization, customizing the journey to the buyer. And so I just want to pass you Thor's hammer here. And can you just take that and smash a myth? I mean, what kind of bogus strategy are you hearing around personalization?
Well, I do love this topic as a marketer today. And I think, so the myth I would love to smash is that personalization is purely and all about the science and the segmentation. So
okay.
A lot of us think about, personalization. This is about figuring out, using all the data behind the scenes and the tools to know, who is this and how can I bucket them and make sure what stage of the buyer's journey they are so that they get the right information and the right workflow at the right time.
Right.
And yes, that is all super, super important. I won't deny that.
Right. Good to have.
It is, but don't forget about the most important word within personalization, which is person. Or
not ization?
I'll expand it to personal, but it's not ization.
It's not ization.
It's not, and it's definitely not the letter I.
Right.
It's about them.
Yes.
And it really is about, how do we create really relevant, interesting personal experiences for people by using all of that, right? Because my point here is, you can spend all day long building out these if and workflows and going, okay, they're here, they're there, they're going to get this, and they're going to get the right information here. But if at that point your trigger says, I'm going to send them a shitty email, it's still just a shitty email they're going to ignore. And all that work goes out the door. And so the real magic happens when you blend the science and the art and you go, right information, right time to right individual with the right experience. And if you can nail that, and what you hit them with is actually engaging and interesting and fun and personal and relevant. And I know it's hard, right? It's hard to do that at scale. But I assure you it's possible. That's the real home run, and that's the promise of personalization in my mind.
Absolutely. You know what? Too many X's and O's, ones and zeros. We're all kind of nerdy a little bit or a lot in marketing, right? So then the tech is cool. So it's easy to see how people can get distracted. Yeah. And also, you may not realize it's easy to forget that, especially if you don't see a list of names, you just see 14 conversions on that page. That's actually 14 human beings,
right,
like you and me, who have hopes and dreams. They have histories. They're angry at their ex, and they're this and they're that. Like, they have all this, and they have a puppy or a cat. Like, actual. So it's that 14 it's much more special, but also reminding yourself that. So now, but where do you start? Like, so we've said personalization's about the person. Are there certain things you do or you need to think about to really apply that?
Yeah, I think, and don't get me wrong, everybody. It's not about, I need to, when I hit this person with the message, it needs to be something that's, relevant to their, personal lives. Because we're not going to get to that point of knowing, this person is this or that, right? But the idea is, what the message, the content that we are hitting them with, is it designed to spark not just a rational but also an emotional response, right?
Okay.
Is it planned and written and produced and filmed or whatever it is in a way that, if you were on the other side of it, would it kind of resonate with you, and would it make you stop and go, oh, you know what, this is actually interesting, or
Right.
this is fun, or this is inspiring, right? One of those sort of emotive words, as opposed to, is this just relevant to me? And I think that, again, that's the big challenge. And you see it on, a lot of it on social, where it is this mix of like, okay, it's got to be the right thing, but to get somebody's attention, right, it's got to be a little bit different. It's got to be interesting. And, it's not just that it has to be personal. So I'll give a, sort of a broader use of definition of personal I use is, again, something that's just going to spark a more personal and emotive and human reaction from people. And that's the stuff that's winning today. And so, there's, I'm a video guy, right? So for everybody who doesn't know, I run the team here at Vidyard, and I live in the world of video.
In
That
fact,
said,
right now you're in a video studio.
It's very, very meta right now.
It's awesome.
On video, in our video studio.
Talking about video.
Talking about video. And, but it's, video is a great way. And I've got a great team that we do all sorts of different kinds of content. And to me, it's about just, how do we craft our messages, right down to, yes, text is still great and is necessary, but how do you craft it in a way that's, it's human. It's casual, it's conversational, because that's the stuff that's working today, right down to, if you're saying, come read my 30-page ebook about this, as opposed to watch my 3-minute video where I will actually, as a person, explain it to you using human language, people are going to opt for that human, quick video that's more authentic and more genuine. So that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think I just saw you yesterday on LinkedIn on video, just sharing some news.
We launched our award. We launched a video and business awards program, right?
Yeah.
Where we're like, okay, we're looking for all the best submissions of, how people are using video. And yeah, we've got a little like cool animated video that we put out there. But yeah, I'll just turn on my camera and record myself doing a very authentic explanation of it. It's like, here's why I'm so excited about it. Here's what we're looking for, check it out. Right. And it works. I mean, it works on social, but we'll even do that in, an email we're sending out. And it's just like, here's a video message from Tyler. Right. And it's just me, like, as a real human going, hey guys, like, really cool program. This is why we're excited about it. We think you should be excited too. And, we'd love to have you participate. And I think for a lot of people, it's working.
I think it's a good practical example, right? You could have technically created some, maybe you've done this too, but, some one pager or, I don't know, some really dry marketing material that we have a contest, come join it, fill out the, form to enter, like you're trying to get your license at the auto department, Instead, it was just you, casual. I mean, we have mics now because it's for, a podcast, but on that recording, I just saw you look like you're at your desk and you're just sharing. It's almost like you're leaning over and we're talking, between each other at different cubes, like, hey, Tyler, what's up? Oh man, we got these awards, you know? And it was very much a conversation in that video, not, it wasn't you with a teleprompter, my fellow Canadians and Americans down south. Let me tell you about this contest. It was just you being real, like authentic.
Well, the beauty of that too, is it took me exactly like 2 minutes.
Right.
And then like, I was like, okay, there's people walking behind me and stuff. You know what? No, it's good. Like, this is good. It's not perfect. It's good enough. And I can do another one tomorrow and another one the next day. And, the aggregate effect of those, 2-minute videos that, took me no longer to create, in many cases will be more effective than the big campaign that we would have spent, days preparing and scripting and doing.
Right.
So again, there's lots of different ways to do this stuff, but I think you're right. It's one great example where it's, my hope is that strikes just a more personal chord with people. They're seeing me in my natural environment, right? I'm not hiding behind the keys. Hey, this is Tyler. You're right. He's like, this is kind of cool. Let's do this. So yeah.
And you don't even have to have, a television face. You just hop on there. We're real people, makeup.
Oh yeah, it drives me nuts. People there all the time, like, I can't get on camera and whatnot, and I understand. I totally appreciate it, right? Like, yes, a lot of people don't feel comfortable getting on camera, and that's perfectly fine. But I think, in this world, I think there's two things to think about there. One is maybe it's something you you could try to practice a little bit
Yeah.
because, in this world, it's probably going to be an important skill. But on the flip side, there's other ways to do it than turning on the camera, right? Right down to, what's the tone you use in your
True.
message, right? Like if it's, dear Casey, we are excited to announce this year's Video and Business Awards,
Yeah.
which are going to do A, B, and C versus, hey, Casey, wanted to give you a quick update on this really fun and interesting program that we thought you'd be a perfect candidate for. The Video and Business Awards is the most awesome, amazing thing since the Oscars.
Right.
Here's a quick, check it out over here, and we think you're going to have a blast with it, right?
Right.
Again, I don't know about everybody's business, but for us, stuff like that just works so much better. And, we find response rates to those kinds of things way higher. And it's just about that more personal tone, that more human tone, right down to that. It doesn't have to be hard.
It's interesting too. I mean, we're almost launching into a video tirade, which we will do. But to your point, the tone, there's a tone, whether you're writing or painting or videoing or anything, there's a choice of language, there's the tone, there's the feel, there's you almost like you create a relationship with the words you use. And the relationship is either, hey, we're peers and we're having fun together, let's have a conversation over coffee, or we're this formal thing and we're almost like programmed to turn that off, like it's a commercial or something,
Yeah, and I'll give you so for those of you listening, this is the one thing I'd encourage you to write down as like a reminder. Is the way I think about it is, we all know the buyer's journey has changed dramatically, and we all see the hey, 15 years ago it was 20% of it happened on your own, and then 80%
Right.
was engaged with a brand and a company and a salesperson. And then these days it's flipped, and 80% of the buyer's journey. You can argue it's 75 or it's whatever.
Yeah.
The point is, more and more of that buyer's journey, we all know, happens, self-educated, online, before they reach out and talk to a sales rep. And so my point is, who owns that part of the buyer's journey? It's us. It's marketers, right?
Yep.
Marketers, it's us and how we represent ourselves and how we engage with people. So we're now responsible for 80% of that buyer's journey, which
Right.
most of that used to be a sales rep.
Sure.
What did sales reps used to do in those early stages of the buyer's journey, right? What did they do? They'd talk about the weather. They'd talk about the local sports team. They'd ask you about your kids, right? And it
Yeah.
drives me nuts as a marketer. I get on a call with a sales rep and they're like, hey, how's the family? And go Buckeyes. And I'm like, oh, I want to tear my hair on. I'm like, let's get into it, right? But they know what they're doing, right? They're building a personal relationship.
Yeah.
And when the buyer's journey flipped and you go 80% of it happens online, reps, you don't have that opportunity for sales reps to do that.
Right.
So it's our jobs as marketers to do the equivalent, right? Now, we're not going to talk about the weather. We're not going to talk about your kids, but the things that we do can have a similar kind of effect. And it's all about, like you said, it's like the tone we use, how we communicate ourselves, how we represent ourselves, and creating an emotional bond where that person in that part of the buyer's journey is going, hey, these are people I'd like to do business with. Like, this is like, I think they kind of get me. I get them. I can relate. And I think that's why this stuff is so important. It's, as marketers, we have to do what sales reps always did so well early on, and it's build a personal relationship without the benefit of being able to have one-to-one conversations.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I don't think I'd ever really thought about that, but and it's almost like marketing saw sales like closing deals, and they're like, well, we're just going to close deals at scale.
Right.
But they missed that I don't know, not cheesy, but it's a relationship building. I mean, they say you buy from people you trust.
Absolutely. It's people you trust is so important. And that is such an important word, right? It is, it's trust.
And people you like. Yeah.
People you like. And it's people who you can relate to their values, as well, right? And so that's where, again, we see, a lot of companies investing more in corporate social responsibility, because they genuinely believe it, but they also know that this is something that, let's put it out there and let's be more active with it, because our employees and our customers are going to care more about those things, right? And so it's everything from, philanthropy and corporate social responsibility to how we communicate on our website to, again, if you go to the About page and you see, the information you see there about, it's just all of that stuff comes to how you're building a digital, offline relationship with potential buyers. And I think so much of that is really, really important. And part of it is brand, but part of it is this idea of just thinking about how do we create more personal relationships with our buyers without the benefit of being able to have a one-to-one conversation with all of them.
Right. And if you were to even think of the sales reps that you've talked to that you even remember, right? Because we get inundated anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I first bought Pardot, I
Right.
actually looked at all the tools and filled out all the forms, right? All the things,
Yeah.
and talked to a lot of different people. But the rep from Pardot, he summarized, it was simple too. It was like capture, nurture, automate. So I
Yeah.
was learning something for the first time. But he was a cool dude. We eventually worked together
Yeah.
at the company, but he was a cool dude, and or I should say is a cool dude, but
Yeah.
cool guy. And I trusted him. I got the sense that he wasn't bullshitting me. He was
Yep.
just, sharing as a person. And, sometimes that kind of stuff can get sales in trouble where management might think, oh, you're a little too casual, but actually they're building relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And, as you were saying that, I kept thinking like to marketing, like, why so serious? Like the Joker, it's almost like we're trying to be too serious or try to do that late stage closing content. And it's like,
Yeah.
don't forget that early stage. And I think sometimes we say early stage is just that, not aware of problem, right? Like they're a target, they're not aware of the problem, or they have it and they don't know that there's a fix. And so it's like early stage content, but we're forgetting the early stage relationships, the warm and fuzzies you were talking about. And the fact that it's on our pages, it's maybe the nonprofits we support, the causes we have, creating that trust at scale. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to derail too far off of the purity of personalization.
Sure.
But like to again, give you a real tangible example. I think one of the reasons that people are hesitant to go that way is because it feels risky, right? Like we know that, great, we put, the specific information, the facts and figures and whatnot, there's really no risk in that. And trying to be a little bit more interesting, fun, personal, human comes with, a set of risk. And if you don't do it right, it can go really wrong. But I'll give you an example. Like last April 1st, right? What's April 1st? Fun day of the year for all of us, right?
Absolutely.
So we decided to do our, first April Fool's campaign because, why not? And so we did this fun campaign where it was a mock launch of a product. It was called, we have a product called Go Video, and it was a mock video of a new product called Go VHS, and it was this, what's old is new again, and like, we're going to help you record videos and then actually ship the VHS via snail mail. I mean, this real fun retro. And it was really fun. But we went all in on that retro theme, and the idea, we actually had the email that we sent out. We used Comic Sans font throughout the whole thing. Which, I know for so many people, it's like, oh my, what? And but we went all in on this fun theme, right? And so we had a boatload of people responding to it, going, LOL, amazing, thanks for a great laugh, loved it, right? And then we had one person respond back saying, I can't believe you used Comic Sans, unsubscribe, right? And they unsubscribed. and we actually had a number of those where we had people like, really? Like Comic Sans? And it was really funny to see these visceral reactions, not to the campaign overall, but to the fact that we used Comic Sans in the email.
Oh, man.
And the best thing is, myself and other leaders in the team, we kind of, we all looked at that and we went, good job, team, right? Like the people who sent it out, they're like, oh my God, we have people unsubscribing and like we totally missed it. And the executive team is going, no, great job. Like you invoked, there was a visceral response there. And for those people who unsubscribed, we're pretty sure they probably were never going to do business with us.
Right.
And, there's a risk there, right? But the people who engaged in it, right? Like, they're opening the next email from us, right? No matter what it is, they're expecting something fun and interesting. And we connected with them as real people. And it was just like a fun kind of campy scene just to really like put a smile on people's faces. And that stuff can go a long way. It's really neat.
That's cool. Yeah. We get so serious. And even I'm keeping one of our core values here is we have fun. But to your point, there's always that question of risk. Like, are we going to tick people off? But to your point, you probably don't need those people. It's not like you sent wingdings out. I mean, that you can't read that. Comic Sans, that font's fine. It's just weird. It's on purpose.
I loved it. Crazy. I loved it. I hope to write a blog post someday of how to shrink your subscriber base by using the wrong font or something.
Yeah, or increase your lead quality by using strange fonts. If they'll survive the strange fonts, they'll survive anything.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
It's interesting. I once did a April Fool's post where I said I was moving to Atlanta, where Pardot's based, and sure enough, even a year later, people who had casually seen that post are like, "So how's
Right.
Atlanta?" You're like, no, I didn't actually move there. That
Yeah.
was April.
Yeah.
Man. But did you actually put anything on a VHS? Or no, it was just all in images, right? Because
Yeah, so we did a
yeah,
really fun video that my it was one of our people found an old like over the shoulder camcorder that had
yes,
VHS tape in it. Like he knew his
yes,
parents had one. He brought it into the office, and it was just a really
that's
funny
cool.
thing. But again, it was just about building a more personal relationship with our audience, and it's just something we do organically as part of the way we market. We do every Halloween we do something fun, and the holiday season we sprinkle those things in for surprise and delight brand moments all throughout.
Right,
While in the middle of that, back to the technology, we're using, of course, all of the tools to make sure that people are getting, hopefully the most relevant educational information in fits and
right,
spurts between that. But what you can expect from Vidyard when you sign up with us or subscribe to our blog or opt in is you're going to get a mix of those. You're going to get, relevant content that's going to educate you throughout. And it's going to be sprinkled in with really fun, interesting stuff that's just going to show you who we are.
right,
Um, you know, like it or not, these
right.
are who we are. This is our passion. This is how we do business. And for the 5% of you that feel that we're too personal and too open, we're sorry. But for the rest of you, hopefully you appreciate that you better understand who you're doing business with and the values that we carry.
Sure. It's sorry, but not sorry.
Sorry, but yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah. Yeah. And and I think if it was a shtick where that's not really your culture,
right.
like if IBM had sent that email or some of the companies I used to work for, right? It sent that email and it's like, you're not really that fun.
Yeah.
Either that or that marketer is getting fired.
Right. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but it's not. And I think that consistency too. People see
Right.
this is us. This is how we do. This isn't just a one time.
Yep.
Let's be campy. In a weird way. This is like that's who we are. We're silly.
Right.
We're vulnerable, and we'll just.
Well, I'll give you. You mentioned IBM. I'll give you another great example. Is Lenovo, who
Oh
big
yeah.
brand, right?
Yep.
And we work with their B2B team that's actually marketing and selling to IT organizations and
Okay.
companies at a bigger scale. And they're one of those companies where again you'd think like, nah, it's like big corporate and whatnot.
Sure.
But this team, they identified that this audience of IT people that they're selling to, right? They love like they're actually a really funny group, and they appreciate subtle humor and whatnot. And so
Cool.
anyway, they really they build up really sophisticated nurture programs to
Okay.
people based on previous buying behaviors and activity online. They're using predictive data, all these amazing things. But then what they layered in was they started doing campaigns that were really fun, and they launched this really awesome campaign where it was called Users Happen. And it was these like fun stories of like, the users in a company from an IT perspective of like, oh yeah, there's Chad, right? Chad's the guy who always drops his laptop and breaks it, right? Or there's Susie, she's the one who always spills coffee on the laptop.
Oh geez.
So it was these like really fun little, mock videos, parodies of this. And the IT person was always the hero in the end, right? They're watching all these mishaps happen. And it was this whole like users happen thing. And they identified that would resonate really well with this IT audience, right? And it did. And so they did these really fun videos. They actually created like this like survival guide for IT people that was again really fun and cheeky. And then they actually did the like crescendo of the campaign was they did a personalized video that they sent out to like 600,000 people where they did a rap video. And it was like this really fun rap video of these IT people who were, going through and solving all these problems in this really fun rap. And but they personalized it so that each viewer's name showed up inside the video in some fun
Oh
place,
wow.
as if they were like the IT hero. And so they actually like brought them into the story. And it was amazing. Like it was like I'm like, I can't believe Lenovo is doing something, a rap video. B, it's like they're personalizing it with each viewer's name right in the video. It was like, to me, I'm
Wow.
like, wow, this feels like a big risk for a brand like Lenovo. And it crushed it. Like it was this phenomenal campaign where they ended up seeing it was more than 3 times higher click-through and engagement rate than the other
Wow.
campaigns that they do. And it was all tied back to this idea of, yeah, we know our audience, right? We know, and we're dribbling them with interesting things, but then we're hitting them with these fun, personalized moments that kind of peel back the brand a little bit and, treat them more like humans and put a smile on their face. It's really cool.
That is really cool. I was able to find. I googled Lenovo, and then the campaign users happen. And you're right. There's this rap thing, and
Oh, it's so
they've
good.
got people dancing like it's a club
Watch it,
atmosphere.
after this, man, watch the
Yeah.
video, and it's like they nailed the, like, most people wouldn't have nailed the rap video. And yeah, they worked with an agency, and it was a pretty big thing that most of us couldn't quite pull off. But it doesn't have to be that. It could be something else. But I encourage you, yeah, watch that after this for a good laugh. It's worth it.
It says she picked the wrong IT team on the wrong day. I fixed it. The new IT anthem.
That's right. It's called I Fixed It. It's so good. So good.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
that's really, inspiring to see that, and also to see a company shake off the cobwebs and not just
Yeah.
go be another, company, just another computer, another company, another IT company. And I think sometimes, you can stereotype some other department in the company, but everybody wants to have fun.
Yeah.
Everyone's cool in some way or another. They might have different kind of humor. Sales typically has a different humor than marketing, but yeah, we're all people. So having fun, even if your buyer is a data integration specialist, hey, you can find some humor in everything.
Yeah.
But my question to you is around, we don't all have agencies. We don't all have, I want to make a baller rap video too. But resources. So, is there a myth around this that we can smash? Is it not as hard as we think?
I'm ready to smash my second myth, man.
Yeah, please do.
So again, in the spirit of me, loving and embracing video, the myth I want to smash right now is that video has to be hard, it has to be expensive, and it has to be complicated. So let me just smash that myth right now to say that video does not have to be hard, it does not have to be complicated, and it most certainly does not have to be expensive. Now, the caveat, if you want to create an amazing rap video that's going to go viral in the IT world, you might want to put a little bit more into that.
Yeah.
The reality is, what the biggest thing with that, it was the scripting, right? The production, honestly, the production of that video, they could have filmed it in the basement of I bet you they could have, right? But it was all about great script writing and understanding their audience and nailing the message.
Great script writing.
So I think these things they don't have to be hard. When it comes to creating video, I think, that's, you start with, the most important thing is not the quality of the camera I have or the lighting, or the important thing is the value of the message and the content, right? And great writing. Right. And so if it is something you're pre-recording, if you have good blog writers in your team, they should be thinking about, how do I start writing video scripts? And it's a bit of a learning curve of it's, it is a little bit different because you've got to get it down to something that's probably going to be, 60 seconds for something that's a little bit more promotional or whatnot. But that's really where it comes down to, is if you can get a great little story arc, you can get a great message planned, then, how you actually capture it. Yeah, it's nice to do higher production ones that do some cool things, but the majority of the content you should be doing can be done just like we're doing right now, right? They can be filmed from a webcam, from an iPhone, from a basic DSLR camera with okay lighting and decent audio. Yeah. And I think that's what, people need to think about. And I'll close on this point by saying, going back to, yes, video is hard and expensive and complicated if your perception of video is that it's purely for brand, right? Right. If your perception of video is, it's another way to tell all these stories throughout the entire buyer's journey and to educate audiences and to, build a brand and to, get smarter on social and to tell a great customer story and to demo our product. If that's your perception of video, then let me again smash that myth. It is not hard. It's not complicated. You just have to be crafty in how you do it and make sure you've got good content and message that's going to resonate with your audience.
That's really interesting because I've heard that before, but I hadn't heard the second part, which is needed, which is why that's the case. And you're right. It's the script. Yeah. People have lost. They're in the jungle, but it was good characters. It was great script writing. Like The Office, technically shitty camera work in The Office, right? Because it was kind of shifty and they're zooming in on somebody after they make a face, but actually it was so good. Felt like you were there with them. And it worked out. It was also really good script writing and just stuff that would make you LOL, whether it was on an iPhone or anything, however they,
Yeah. So whether it's there's examples, you talk about there's top of funnel campaigns. which, you know, again, can be things that are like just short and interesting. And, you know, you may want to put a little bit more behind the filming and the editing, but
Yeah.
hopefully some people can do that in-house, or maybe you've got a freelancer or an agency that can do it, you know, inexpensively, right? Don't go to a big brand agency to get, you know, a scrappy video done, right? Like
True.
that's not the way to do it. There's, you know, there's different kinds of agencies, there's freelancers, there's lots of ways you can get those things done. And then again, in-house, people can do a lot. And there's top of funnel promos, but I like a lot of that educational content. And
Right.
we do a lot of thought leadership interviews.
Yeah. What do you do? What kind of, you know, if you were to list out the key thought leadership type, you know, approaches you've got?
Yeah, so we've actually taken the approach of we've done a couple of kind of branded content series that we put out on our blog, but then we also promote them on social and put them into our nurtures. You know, one of them is called Point of View, and it's where we interview you know, industry thought leaders and customers of ours for their perspectives on what's hot and what's not today. And for us, we're targeting marketing and salespeople.
It's
So
a cool name, by the way.
yeah, it's just called, and
Point of view.
we have modern marketing point of view and we have modern sales point of view. And, you know, the productions are really simple, right? Like we take advantage of, if we're at a conference and we know some of them will be there, I'll bring along a DSLR camera, you know, a $500 Canon that we have here at the office. And, you know, I'll pack up a little tripod and a little wireless mic, and they turn out pretty darn well. And we get them on camera. We ask a series of questions. We ask them to sort of answer them straight to camera. And then we bring them back and we do some basic editing, right? We listen back, we find the clips we want, and then we do little animated cuts in between. So like where we like cut and show the question and then cut back to them.
Oh, cool.
It's really simple. Like at the end of the day, the actual editing process, I mean, I'm not a video editor. Don't tell anyone, everybody, but I'm not actually a video guy. I'm still learning all this stuff. And I learned a lot from our developers here, right? These are guys that just, they grew up on like, you open up iMovie and you do this and that.
Drop it in there. Come on.
Cool. So like we do stuff like that. We do our Chalk Talk series, which is really effective for us. And it's they're basically like video blogs, to be honest, but each Chalk Talk is a 5 to 8 minute long video about a very specific topic. And we went to our sales team and our smart marketing team, and we went like, what are the biggest questions or objections or things that people are asking?
Right.
And we created a Chalk Talk for each one of those. And so what we do is we've got a chalkboard. I don't have it here behind me, but we'll just wheel it into the room here. And we draw up the visuals on the chalkboard. I sort of plan out what do we want to talk about, just like you would for a blog post.
Right.
Except let's lay it out in visual format and then hit record on the camera, get in front of it and talk through the story. And try to nail it in a single take. It always only takes one take. It may often be the 20th take, but one take. But it's usually like a couple hours to sort of plan it out, get in front of the camera, get a really great take. And it's something that would take probably even longer to write the blog post because you're like messing over words and
trying to craft the word or whatnot. And people are much more forgiving just listening. And I mean, and I know this because if you look at a transcript of even like a podcast, you're like, wow, they said what? Yeah.
So I think that's like those, that's a good example. And people do like whiteboard videos. So they do Whiteboard Wednesdays or something like that. I see. And those are just like scrappy ways to create content in a different way that's a little bit more personal and interesting. And it's, again, it just appeals to those who would prefer to learn in that format. And it's a lot more memorable, right? For those of you who didn't know, video, we process in our long-term memory. Text, we process in our short-term memory. Oh. And we also process visual information a lot faster than text. The 3M people say 60,000 times faster, but the number doesn't really matter. The point is, in a 3-minute video, you can instill so much more information than you can somebody reading for 3 minutes. And it immediately becomes more memorable because of the visual cues and how we process that in our brains. And so it's really effective, but they cost us nothing to create other than the time of an individual to draft the story and do it. But if you just Google Vidyard Chalk Talks, you'll find a hub where we've got like 20 different Chalk Talks we've done. And it's scrappy, it's easy, but they're super effective. And our sales team uses them all the time. They send them out to prospects of like, hey, you asked about, video SEO. Here's a great Chalk Talk where we explain everything you need to know in 5 minutes and go ahead, right? So coming soon to Netflix, Vidyard Chalk Talks, ladies and gentlemen. Well,
Vidyard Chalk Talks. Boom. To your point, the work really goes in beforehand. It was the script writing. It was, what do we want to say? Simplifying it to the point where it's something you can talk through.
Yep.
is important. And then also, you probably writing it all first. So have you ever tried writing while talking to people at the same time? I don't know how teachers do it. I tried doing a training video. I was like,
Yeah.
and such is this. And I turn around, I'm like trying not to be awkward and show the back of my head too much. And I'm like, well, I can't write while
No,
looking at
it ends up like
the camera. Yeah, you just can't
like
do
you're
it.
off on angles and stuff. And no, yeah, the way I do them is we pre-draw the board, and at
Smart.
max, I might have like a piece of chalk where I'm like checking things off or
Yeah.
adding to it, like little things. But yeah, I just I get it up there, and the real emphasis is on the delivery of that, and making sure that we hit the message. So yeah, I mean, I'll give you one of the really simple examples.
Yeah, totally.
So, all of you out there, or most of you out there, probably have a blog where you are publishing blog posts. And again, there's ways to incorporate videos into those blogs, and that's all great. But something else we do is, our content marketer who owns the blog, and she actually writes a lot of the content.
Yep.
Every week she does a 2-minute video that's our weekly blog summary. And it's just a quick video with her on camera. And so she gets on and she's like, "Hey everybody, it's Hannah from Vidyard, right? You're
cool.
Your blog queen. And this week on the blog, we had, a great piece on this topic where they talked about this. Big takeaway was this. We had a blog post on this. Here are some things that were interesting. And the final one really dove into this topic. And if you want to learn more about, X, Y, or Z, check this one out." And they're just little quick videos where she just, hops in here, turns on her webcam, gets herself on camera, records that. And then we push that out on social. And for those who have subscribed to our blog, we'll also put that into those. So they know every week they can get just a quick summary of what's there. But it's a video of it's her. It's really, she's actually the person who runs the blog. And so while you're doing it, back to the theme of personalization, you're building this familiarity and this empathy and this sort of personal connection. And now people associate the blog, not just with the content, but with real people at your company. And it's a little hack, but again, that takes her 10 minutes a week. She probably does a couple of takes to get it right, but it's takes 10 minutes of her time. And now she's getting her face out there and she's building a more human connection with people by nature of it. It's really cool. Simple idea.
That's really cool and invaluable for people too. Maybe you don't have time or you missed a bunch of blogs, knowing that you've got that digest, and it's much more fun to listen to than even scanning a digest. Sometimes that goes in the inbox too, but just a little fresh air, especially if it's someone that's positive and happy and they're just like, "Hey guys, and here's what I got from it." And, go check them out if you're interested. To your point, images are way faster than text. In that image, I'm not only just getting the information with the sound and her talking, but I'm also like, this person's cool, cool culture. I can relate to this. I trust these people. Wow, they really know what they're talking about. They like learning. They like teaching. This is cool. So all these different other stories you're able to create from that, that simple dialogue. That's cool.
Totally.
Dang. So
I can go on, my friend. I can go on.
Yeah, no, it's good. Let's get some espresso and just keep going. So this is really cool. But tell us what's happening, because I was at Inbound the other day and big announcement. You guys, what are you guys doing? You're taking over the planet or something.
Don't tell anyone. It's a secret.
Yes.
The world domination plan is kicking in. Well, the reality is, video is going mainstream, right? I'd love to say it's gone mainstream. I think in B2B, it's starting to go mainstream. And I
agree.
think, the conversations I'm having with companies now and other marketers is, 2 years ago, it was, most of them were the why video conversations. And they're all like, I'm not sure, things are okay. And it's I'm not sure. And it was always here's why video works. And then, but nowadays it's not. They're all how video conversations. They all get it, and they're like, okay, it's everywhere on social. People are consuming on mobile. We know all these factors weigh into video is a better way to communicate, and it's a more expected content medium from our audience. So I get it. Now the conversations are, how do I do it? How do I scale video without crushing my budget? How do I integrate it into my nurture programs, into my campaigns, into my social, to add, when I am perfecting the art of personalization of right message, right time, how do I make sure it's a video that's telling that story, right? It's all an enablement play now of how do I do this effectively? And then how do I get the data on the back end to know, is this really working, and what kinds of videos are working or not? So, so that's kind of the foundation for the macro trend. As a result of that, long way of saying, our friends at HubSpot came to us and a while ago and said, you know what, We know that video is becoming a super important part of inbound and outbound, but let's talk mostly about inbound. And they wanted to enable their customers to do it natively in their platform. So they launched HubSpot Video, which was the ability to now natively inside of HubSpot to upload and publish videos on landing pages to brand the player so it matches your brand. It's not like the YouTube watermark or anything.
Yeah.
You can add calls to action to those videos. You can track
Wow.
the analytics right back in the platform. But then also in their sales and service, which is equally important. And I know most of this audience is going to be marketers, but hey, marketers, by the way, if your sales reps can convert more of those leads you pass them, it looks really good on you.
It does.
So what they're doing on the sales side is making it easy for sales reps, one click, to be able to record and send a personal video message to a prospect. So when they're following up on a lead, they can, instead of just copying and pasting text, they can record a quick video where they can go, hey, it's Tyler from Vidyard here. I understand that we're checking out this great webinar we just did. I'd love to learn more about your business, but I think we could help you do A, B, and C. I'm here to help, right? So they're introducing themselves as all those things we talked about. So the really cool thing is HubSpot just brought that natively into the platform. It's stuff that we do for Pardot. It's stuff that we do for a lot of different platforms and companies today. But that announcement was HubSpot was baking it natively into their product out of the box for free, which was great. So again, it's a recognition of, it's just expected, right? Marketers want to do this. How can we make it as easy as possible? So that was really exciting. I think, again, a good hat tip to the community that, video is real now, and no more excuses. Let's get going, and let's just, make it a native part of what we do as marketers.
I love that. And if you're baking a cookie over there, obviously, the Marketos, the Pardots, I'm sure that's, secretively on the way as well. Just everyone's getting that. I love that it's the trend, though. I mean, that's the right trend. We got all depersonalized with all of our crazy automations and text mails and stupid fake robot shit. And now we're just putting our face out there, but now we're trying to make it easier. So it's just, to your point, that I love that when the sales rep is like holding up a little sign, like, hey, click this, and Casey, and you click, like, hey, Casey, it's me, just check it in. What's up?
Well, it's just it's back to that like visual sort of cognitive interpretation, right? Because when somebody sees a video land in their inbox, and it's got, let's say it's me, and I don't have a whiteboard on me, I should. And I'm holding up a whiteboard that says, hey, Casey, let's talk. I'll go inside your brain for a second, and a little scary, but I'm inside Casey's brain right now, the light side of it. Yes. Casey's brain is, when he sees that thumbnail image in his inbox, a few things happen. One is he sees there's a real human, right? And so, which normally he discounts 50% of the sales messages that come through because he assumes it's automated.
Right.
So A, a human, great. B, they wrote my name on a whiteboard, so I know they did this just for me. So I now know this was just for me, and this truly is a personal message. And number three, holy shit, this person recorded a video for me, right? Like, that's not normal. Like, the expectation of value, the fact that they took the time out to do it, means they must have done their homework. Like, they're not going to put themselves on camera and read from a script. They must have they're putting themselves out there, and they put extra effort into it. So all those things are racing through Casey's mind in like a matter of 3 seconds when he sees this thumbnail image.
Totally.
And so he's more likely, probably about 2 to 3 times more likely to click on it than if it was just a text-based email. Now, you may still not click on it because you're a busy guy, but the likelihood of you doing it goes up. And what's also interesting is if you didn't click on it, the next email you get from that person, you're more likely to open because their face, now oh yeah, that's that person I saw in that video. Okay, right. So all those things are happening. And again, it's just back to that idea of the pendulum swung from the old world of marketing was all about the art and the ad. And then it swung into the science, right? And massive, amazing platforms with Pardot and all the sophisticated stuff we can do. And now the pendulum is kind of swinging back into the middle. And I hope it stops right in the middle, which is this perfect blend of science and art. You go, use all the science for the smarts of what to do when and to segment people, but use the art to make sure what you're delivering to them is freaking awesome, and genuinely want to connect with you as a person. And that's again, I think that's what HubSpot kind of recognized. And we do lots of business with Pardot customers, Marketo customers. There's a huge activity going on there of people trying to find that balance of, okay, we need to swing back and make sure we're doing interesting things here that actually connect with people in more personal ways.
I love that. And if you get an email and it has your name on they actually wrote it on there. We're not digitally printing that, and it's like, that is for you.
Yeah.
If you don't click on that, you're crazy.
Yeah. How
You're
could I
that
not?
10% of the population that we're not sure about.
Yeah.
But everyone else, I mean, until every email has that, and I don't
Yeah.
ever see that happening,
Yep.
because not everyone really cares,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you can tell the people that do, like, I've even the studies on sales, right, that show the best sales reps are the ones that genuinely want to help you,
Oh yeah, for
um,
sure.
that noble purpose. And
Yep.
so this is almost like a little cue in to say, actually, I do care. I actually really want you to do this. I wrote your
Yep.
name. I just wanted to say hi. And yeah, even if I don't want to talk to the person, I'm curious. I mean, you're so
Yeah.
like, what did they say? You
Yeah.
know?
Well, that's where, like, the other things we'll do, and this applies to marketers as well, because we
Sure.
do similar kinds of tactics. But the other things you'll do is, okay, so I did your name on a whiteboard, and maybe
Yeah.
that didn't get your attention, or you glossed by it. The next video I'm going to do a screen capture video. I'm going to, with my webcam on, so my face is in the corner, but on my screen is my browser, and it might have your website up on it, or your LinkedIn profile, or an article on social that you commented on.
Yeah.
Something that, again, is like visually relevant to you, and you go, oh, wait a minute, that's my website. What does this guy have to say? And so then you click on it, and I tie my story back to it, right? I'm like,
Yep.
hey, Casey, I was on your website, and I noticed you're doing some really great things here. So I'm going to start by flattering you. And then, but
Thank you.
blah, 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 these great
Yes.
videos. But by the way, you probably have no idea who's watching them or what the ROI is on those videos. I'd love to
Yep.
help you here at Vidyard. Right? So the point is those visual cues to just kind of get in the door. But again, marketers can do the exact same thing in their email campaigns. It's like, is there something, there's a subject line we all know matters, and then what that main content is. And if you have some kind of great video that just immediately has that visual to give them a sense of, okay, what am I like? Is there something interesting enough here in the 1 second I'm going to give you? If it piques my interest, I might dive into it. One little hack that I do sometimes is we send out a campaign where the subject line is, video message from Tyler at Vidyard.
Oh, cool.
And then it says, like, the text below it is, hey, Stephanie, we're really excited. We just launched our, new awards program. Here's a quick video from our CMO, Tyler, about what it's all about. And then again, there's a thumbnail image, and it's just a simple, like, webcam style video with me on it, and they click and they watch it, and it's just me saying what I did the other day. And the neat thing there is, so that's going out, that's not a one-to-one, that's like a campaign going one-to-many. And so I don't say your name. I don't say, hey, Casey, but in the video, I'm saying, like, hey there, it's Tyler from Vidyard, a quick video message here to update you on this amazing program, blah, blah, blah. And just little things like that, where those have worked really well. And I think because people see this subject line of, like, oh, a video message, like, holy shit, Tyler from Vidyard sent me a video message? That's cool, right? Like, I don't expect that. And so then there he is on camera, and it's like, wow. And so you click on it, and you're sort of like, maybe at the end you're like, oh, maybe he didn't just do that just for me, but this is cool. Just like little, like, hacks like that you can do that sometimes it works. Like, just try it out, right? It might not work for you, might, I don't know.
Yeah, as you're saying that, I can picture that, and it's really inspiring me, because I think even personally, I thought, I don't know what kind of image people have of me, but I'm supposed to know a lot about marketing automation, and but really what it is I'm just excited about marketing automation.
Right.
I happen to know a little about it too, but you're right. Why mask that? Like, be you, get yourself a video, like, people do it this way, or like, I want to teach you this, and people can get that. Oh, he really cares. He's really excited.
Yeah.
Why sanitize? Why cleanse that out? Put yourself out there for the customer, be authentic. And what a simple thing, just to, record a little video, only one take, I'm sure. and a couple. and that's the fun part, right? That's where you get the outtakes from.
Yeah.
But just to have that video, and that video message from Tyler, from Casey, from whoever.
Who knows, right? Yeah.
Oh, and the other thing is to then be able to track that. And I know you mentioned it briefly, but this is important. I don't know if people necessarily know this. It's one thing to have your video, let's say, on YouTube,
right?
It's just there, and you're like, oh, I have 4 views. But what I found incredibly helpful is when you have Pardot and then Vidyard, and they're connected, you're able to see so much more, and you're able to see, like, John Smith watched, this amount of this video. It's the information's fed right to where it needs to be. It's not like you have to go search for it. It's all consolidated, and that's been huge, because you can then see all the different people that did take you up on that video or didn't. We once had a video where we invited people to go skydiving with us.
Right.
I'm like, come skydiving with us. Hey, and it was like kind of irreverent, but it was like serious. People were like, really? We're like, yes, really. Come skydiving with us. And yeah, we were able to see who was watching it, who watched it like 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
Follow up. And for some of the longer videos too, if someone is taking the time to invest in one of the longer videos, maybe a learning video where they're doing a lot of learning.
Yeah.
Good to be able to know that. And then to your point, now use technology to be able to either ping sales or put them on the right nurture or something so that someone knows this particular person is really doing some education. Maybe we should reach out.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think like my marketing mind, and back to like the science side of my marketing mind, is that notion of, if I can start to evolve from purely activity-centric scoring and qualification, right? So when I say that, it's like, okay, they clicked on this, or they went here, or they downloaded this, right? Those are all activities that they did. But actually being able to start to distinguish engagement from activities. And so it's, oh, this person not only clicked and watched this video, but they watched it for 6 minutes, as opposed to this person who watched it for 10 seconds, right? Those are very different results. And so it's, it's a little bit more sophisticated, but the opportunities there I think are really, really important, because it helps you more quickly identify those people that are actually consuming, who are probably already more educated and are going to have better conversations. And B, it's going to help you be more efficient with your sales team, because you're passing leads, not just because, I mean, this happens to all of us, right? You pass leads over to sales. You're like, oh my, this is the most amazing lead. They're like a 10,000 lead score. They read all these ebooks, and then like the sales rep follows up and they're like, hey, I saw you read all these great ebooks. And they're like, huh? Oh yeah, I think I downloaded some of those, but I can't remember what they were about. Right.
Yeah. Or you're calling their dorm room, they're just doing research for school.
Right. Yeah. So there's 2 things here. So one is that mindset, and it doesn't have to be like super sophisticated. Like if they watch 18 seconds, do this, and 19 seconds, do this. It's just the basics of, if they watched more or less than half of a certain video, do something different. But one really cool example that I'm seeing more and more people do is the simple idea of, so we're a product company, and on our website, we have a usual call to action of like, get a demo or get a trial, right? We added another call to action on our website, which was watch a demo. And so instead of, there's a big hurdle to somebody going, yeah, I actually want to get a demo, because most people know that means I'm going to talk to somebody, book a time, get a call.
And I have to disappoint someone when I say no. I don't want to.
It's a big hurdle. We all know that.
Yeah.
And even like start a trial, you're like, well, it actually means I got to do something with the product.
I got enough do's in my list here.
Totally. So this idea of like, okay, so watch a demo. And the notion of, okay, so, and maybe it's even like watch a 5-minute demo. So now I know like, okay, there's enough value there, and like it's 5 minutes, there's going to be meat there, but I don't have to spend, 24 hours like binging on tons of content. So there's like, so we do watch a 6-minute demo, and I'm trying to get it down to 5. I think like 4 to 6 is the sweet spot from what we see. So that idea of like watch a 4-minute demo or watch a 6-minute demo, and somebody clicks on that, and that could take them to a Pardot form to say, okay, please give us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll like, then you can watch our demo.
Just like a couple questions, nothing crazy. You're not asking.
Hopefully keep it minimum. But be GDPR compliant. Okay.
Oh gosh.
But the point of like putting like the 5-minute watch a 5-minute demo is people, they go in with an expectation of value. And so they're willing to fill out the form, right? It's not just like a 30-second demo video. So park that. So somebody clicks, they fill out the form, they start watching the video. Now, again, on the back end, so you've gotten more leads into the funnel, because people who want to watch a demo are more likely to take that CTA than request a demo. Will it cannibalize the other calls to action? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, right? Try it yourself. But my point is, now somebody goes in there and they start watching your demo. Or maybe you actually have multiple 5-minute demos, right, about different things that you do. So now they can go in there, they can start watching those demos on their own time. But on the back end, if you can actually track that, and you now know not just, hey, somebody watched the demo because they filled the form out, but I know exactly who spent 10 seconds watching those videos versus who spent 20 minutes watching, all 4 of those 5-minute videos. And again, like, that's the lead that I want to pass to my sales team and that they want to talk to. And it's a very different mindset. And like, that's working really well for people where they're like, I'm getting more conversions on my website because it's a lighter weight ask of watch a demo. But then those that I know are actively engaging, I'm going to flip those sooner to my sales reps, and they're going to have more quality conversations because they also know what they've already self-educated on.
Yeah.
It's a really great idea and a really simple thing.
It is.
You just, again, you need, there's a platforms like Vidyard out there that can do all of that tracking behind the scenes. Everything else, you can record the videos, you can put the Pardot form, host the videos on YouTube all you want. But with a platform like a Vidyard, yeah, that's where you're now actually going to be able to differentiate between, who watched how much. And by the way, that data is all going to flow into Salesforce as well. So you can actually do ROI reporting on it afterwards and go, 80% of our pipeline came from people who watched the demo videos. So, hey, CEO, when we ask you for more money to produce even better demo videos, here's the ROI to tell you why, not just did that page work, but did the videos work? And that stuff is really, really important.
Yeah. You know what? You show ROI to someone like that, and they're, how much money do you want? Yeah. Can you do 5 of those videos? Is it going to scale?
Be careful what you ask for. Right? Don't overinflate it too much.
Here's the money. Just take it. Just go
the expectations go way up.
Yeah, I know.
But when you can honestly, when you can go in and say, not only did this get 100 views, but you can go, hey, 3 months later, we can show that this video tied back to X amount of pipeline and closed revenue because the video viewing data is being attached to a contact record and then right to an account record inside of Salesforce.
Yeah.
It's like this holy grail of, great content, higher conversions. I actually track what's working. I can report on the ROI. And that also, of course, informs what I should be doing next because the good ROI stuff, we do more of. The bad ROI stuff, we do less of. So
totally. That makes all the difference in the world. I mean, since the dawn of time, we've been able to see a whole group of, show me on my video where people drop off. Great. That's not enough, right? Like well, who dropped off here and who went all the distance? I don't know. But if you do know that, and it is in Salesforce, to your point, and you are taking action on it, that's how you're able to be responsive. And the journey for that customer is so much better. They chose to do the demo. Now they're kind of intrigued by they saw all 4 minutes of it.
Yep.
You probably have an automated follow-up after that, and then someone's reaching out to see if they have something they want to chat about. So that all makes a lot of sense. That's a really cool idea too.
Yeah, it's a simple one. And the other one that I'm in love with right now too is then the idea of so you've got some of these great videos, right? Whether demo videos or customer stories, Chalk Talks, whatever they are. Yeah. Is then so now let's say a sales rep. So with our Go Video tool, but there are others out there. But I'll talk from my experience with our Go Video app. What a sales rep can do now is right from inside of Gmail or Outlook or inside of Salesforce, they can click on their contacts, they send them a message, and with one click, they can pull up a library of those videos. I say, I want to send them this video, the demo, and a customer story, right? And it just it embeds the thumbnail image right inside of the email. They send it off. And now, again, what's cool is not only is whether or not that person watched it going to be tracked back in Pardot, but the sales rep themselves are also going to get a notification to say, yep, Casey watched your video all the way to the end, and he watched this one 10% of the way through. That sales rep now has the ability to act on it effectively in real time if they choose to do so. And so it's back to this beautiful idea of, okay, if we know what somebody might be interested here or there, marketing's probably doing something, but sales may also want to be taking a direct action, send them a piece of content, and then they can sit back and wait to be notified. Yep, they watched that and they watched it all the way to the end. Boom, I'm going to make my call and I'm going to get into a conversation, right? Those are the kinds of things that I'm finding are making a real difference. And it's not that hard. And a lot of this is just about, get the content and then B, simple tools like that make it easy and accessible. Because you don't want to have a sales rep sending a link off to your YouTube channel, but if they could just do one click to put a thumbnail image, somebody watches it on a branded page that's for your company, you get the data. It's it's butter. It's beautiful. So yeah, that's what I'm making it accessible and able to everybody in the business. I think is really, really important right now.
This is an awesome trend. Yeah, this is so good. And and it puts the faces to the name, the content, and it's awesome. People,
the human to human movement, baby. Human to human.
Human. H to H, yo. H to H. Speaking of H, what a great segue that was. Tell me about your H. Who are you, man? You're crushing the game. One of the, if not one of the top CMOs to follow what you're doing. Obviously, you're using your own tool, which is key. Yep. You're also doing all these other things. But who are you? How did you get to be the chief, marketing poobah at a growing company that's taking over the planet? What's your story, man?
All right. So to keep you all tuned into this part, I'll tell you at the end. I'll tell you about the fun dinner that I had with Will I Am and the CEO of BlackBerry, where we talked about my Humps Fergie song. Okay,
Oh, jeez.
so so I'll give you a bit of my backstory. So I'm
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
by trade. I
Just a
graduated.
developer.
Yeah, it was a program called Systems Design Engineering with
Oh, cool.
that was mostly focused on computer engineering and design. And when I graduated, I went into software, and I started my career at BlackBerry. I'm from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, which is the headquarters of BlackBerry.
Got it.
And this was back in 2001 when it was like an
When it was
incredible.
cool.
Oh my God, it was so cool! It was like before there were such things as smartphones. Like we actually
Right.
launched the first real smartphones ever,
Mm.
and there's a lot of history there. But I'll save you the story. But I started as an engineer, and
Okay.
I actually started off doing developer support. So I didn't work on internal products. We were back in 2001 building a community of mobile app developers who were creating
Hmm.
mobile apps for Blackberries. And I started off doing developer support and working with that community to support them. And over the years, I found that I was actually not a good developer.
Same
So
here.
I fooled them at first. But what I was really good at was support,
Yeah.
evangelism, communicating with these people, understanding the technology, and then translating what they were trying to do into product requirements. And I didn't know it at the time, but I really ended up kind of being more of like a product marketer, where I
Yeah.
talked to all of these developers and try to figure out problems they were having, things they were trying to do, and then work with our own team to go, we should do this or we should do that, or let's,
Right.
their games aren't working because, we don't have the right things here. Let's add
Right.
that. So it was really fun, but I really enjoyed that advocacy and evangelism and tying technology to business. And eventually, long story short, I ended up, really, building out and running a broader partner program there that included technology, business, and marketing.
Interesting.
And I really kind of really glob more onto that business development and marketing side of it, of again, communicating stories and communicating to the market. And that's what I really fell in love with. And so I sort of piggybacked on that and went to a couple of other startups and
Sure.
then eventually landed here at Vidyard. And, I love it because it's been, again, I didn't come in here with a video guy. I came in here as
Right.
technology storyteller, communicator.
And
And
community builder too, and
yeah,
partnership builder. Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So it was, so all of that certainly has come into play with what we're doing. And
Right.
yeah, to your point, we partner with Salesforce, with HubSpot, with like Marquette, a lot of different companies.
A lot of
And
agencies too. A lot of agency partners. Yep.
yeah, so it's all super important, but it was a really fun path. And I love that history of being in the technology groups and understanding sort of how developers work, and having a broader experience. And I bring a lot of that to how I approach marketing, because I think we all have to have an appreciation, of course, for the products and services we're selling, an appreciation for the sales process,
Right.
and an appreciation for the marketing that we're trying to do. But I think if having other experiences prior to becoming a marketer, I think has made me, a lot more effective in what I'm doing.
Agreed. It's almost like that's the flavor,
Yeah.
like in the marketing ramen soup, like the flavor comes from whatever weird thing or interesting path we came from the dev side, the tech side, but then
Yeah.
more of the human interaction, the support, and then eventually the product marketing, the draw being pulled over to marketing, where it's just like, this is awesome,
Yeah.
and then communicating with people, but using technology.
Yeah. And the one recommendation I'd put out there for folks is if, I'm sure a lot of people came up in a marketing path, and, most of you probably get this, but I think if you grew up as a brand communications marketer,
Yeah.
spend time with the data, the science, the technology teams as much as you can to really understand. As you don't have to get your fingers dirty in like programming campaigns,
Sure.
but learn as much as you can about that, so you can again become a more well-balanced, and you can understand how the science can support the art, and of course vice versa, right? If you're like,
Right.
you grew up as a marketing ops demand gen junkie and you're in there in the tools, if you have an opportunity to expose yourself to the brand side of things, to the communications, to the content side, the more and more you do that, I think it sets yourself up to be able to evolve your career and appreciate again how one side can complement the other, and they're both so important, which is probably the biggest thing I've learned in the last few years is how important both of those are, which makes the job of a CMO really tough.
It does. Interesting. It's that I was gonna say flavor, but it's also, maybe you're on the science side. You maybe have your preference. To your point, still seek out the other side. Makes you more balanced. Even if you know that, hey, you're creative, you're the artist, great job on Photoshop. It's not me, by the way.
Yeah.
And then the tech side, it still helps to understand more of the capabilities over there, because that may jog your mind, and you might have some great ideas that you can use.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And we do like lunch and learns for our team, where it's just, we drive
Oh,
like
yeah.
cross-functional knowledge sharing. And, we did a lunch and learn on, on email marketing, right? As simple as it is, the people who do it,
Yeah.
they live and breathe it. But for the other people in the team, just to be exposed to, like, here's how we actually build a list, and here's how we do suppressions, and,
Right.
here are the limits, and, how Pardot helps make sure we don't spam too many people. And, for everybody else, it's like, like the brand and creative people, I get the feedback all the time. They're like, this is super cool. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to have to do that. Maybe not today, but someday, just having a basic appreciation for how that works, it goes a long way. And and I think that stuff helps. And, marketing is so multidisciplinary now. And it's, there is no such thing as just a marketer anymore. So,
Right.
so again, that's probably my recommendation and challenge to those of you out there is, learn as much as you can. Again, you don't have to take courses or spend time in it, but if there are other people in your company who, are doing that and have experience, just grab a coffee with them, ask them to teach you something, a half hour every month, or just little things to appreciate the different sides of modern marketing.
That's really cool. And somewhere along that pathway, you added 4 kids to the mix.
Oh my goodness.
How do you do it? I got 2, and it's a zoo. I don't know
Yeah.
how to do 4.
Yeah, I do. So I have 4 kids between the ages of 3 and 11 right now,
Yeah.
which is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. The reason
Totally.
I had 4 was because we kept really enjoying it.
Totally.
And I think for me, yeah, it's tough. It's a lot of time. But I think for me personally, I really I force myself to have a great work-life balance, and I do everything I can when I'm here and I'm online. Yeah, I'll open up the laptop after the kids are in bed, but there's so many things that are so important in those times of, for us, there's hockey, and there's dance, and there's parkour, and there's Lego robotics, and there's animation
Yeah.
classes. But these things are really, really important. And I think the nice thing for me is that, like, half those things end up re-inspiring me, and like watching them do what they do is so inspirational for me. And it gives me a ton of energy, and I really appreciate it. And then I also use them to spot check my work. So when we do the campaign, it's funny. My kids think I have the most amazing job because they think all I do is create like April Fool's Day videos.
Yeah. Right.
But it is really quite fun when I show them some of the work that we do. And I'm like, if they actually laugh at some point through here, then I know we nailed it, because if it's that accessible that like my kids can kind of appreciate it without knowing
Right.
the market, we hit on something. And so I sometimes use them as a test bed for our campaigns.
And sometimes 6-year-olds laugh at things that aren't even funny. So it's a good testing audience.
Yeah,
But
it is.
I love the reminder of the Lego robotics, the different things that they take interest in.
Yeah.
Also just exposes you to that too. If you hadn't been a part of that, my daughter just got into doing some ballet and just found out she's gonna be the Nutcracker.
Right.
It's gonna be an angel.
Great.
Apparently you just sort of walk out and you float out and you go back. But that's cool. And so being exposed to just different things that I didn't even know about. And I don't have a background in ballet, unfortunately, but I'm learning. So, and it was funny to watch her in the kitchen the other day, teach the misses some like, this is first position, this is second position, and just a little bit of that. It's so neat. That's like the variety when you go home, and just the things that they bring, and the things that they're learning is, it's just, to your point, it's very energizing and inspiring.
Well, and I think for, again, those of you out there that do have kids, as they start to get even just a little bit older, like, again, my 9 and 11-year-olds, I'm getting a lot of cues from them of, kind of where the market is today and where it's going, right? Like I'm an old Gen Xer, right? Like I'm surrounded by millennials here at the office that just, like, I just can't do Instagram. I don't get Instagram. I don't know how to work it. It doesn't, I don't know, but I'm trying. That's not me. But like my kids, I watch them interact with, of course they have tablets, and they're just like, it's crazy to see how they're growing up on this, and how they interact with touch screens, and how they interact with video, and how they interact with imagery. And I fear for our society that people won't be able to read in the future, because But it's the reality of, again, you put something in front of them and they're always inclined to push the play button,
Right.
or again, interact with something more visual. And I appreciate at that age that's probably expected, but
Right.
right down to the 3-year-old, right? Like she's just like takes the phone and she's like, I want, like, if there's a play button, she's hitting it, right? And
Oh
there's
yeah.
visceral reaction. She's like, her expectation of what she's going to get from that is very different from anything else. And so, like, as marketers, we can take cues from that. And again, it's like, I think it's helped me because I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like, there's a reason that they're addicted to that play button, and we got to
Right.
find it as marketers and appreciate it, because the older people have that too, and the younger generation is going to be looking for it. So
Right.
take
Right.
inspiration if you do have kids. Just keep an eye on what they're doing, because that is quickly going to become a trend.
You're right. They help keep you young. I did the Instagram thing, or I have it, but to your point, I'm on that cusp of confusion where it's like, I've got it. It's kind of cool, but then I'm like, what do I post my photo on Facebook and on Instagram? And I guess
I
the
don't
answer is
know. I don't
yes,
know.
but, or pick one, but yeah. And then, if you click on it twice, it likes it versus the other thing, and you can't link
Yeah.
off. Yeah. It's like a whole new languages.
And my daughter's just like, boom, 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 I'm done. And I'm like, ooh, all
Yeah.
right. I don't know where it's going, but I hope it's okay. It's really, it's cool. But yeah, I love it. It's super inspiring, and really interesting to watch how that generation is growing up. But it also educates me more about the millennials I'm surrounded by as well, and I can start to appreciate from that bridge over of like, oh, I see why they do that, or when I
Yeah.
say this, why they're like, why? What do you mean you don't know how to create a video? They're just like, I don't know. They just grew up on it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Facebook Live. It's,
Yeah.
Instagram videos. It's all
The
there.
expectation of immediacy and simplicity, and it's like the smartphones and tablets are either going to ruin that generation or they're going to make them crush it, because they know, like, they expect simplicity, they expect immediacy, they expect value, they have low tolerance. Maybe I'll end my rant on that, which is,
Yeah.
a lot of people, when we talk about video and content, we all hear the goldfish attention span analogy that everybody, it's like, oh,
It was
humans
just
have
like the,
a shorter
half a
attention
second.
span than
Yeah.
goldfish now. We're like 7-second attention span. It's all
Do
about
we?
yeah. Well, I think it's this will be my last myth bust. Is
Yeah.
My myth bust is the goldfish analogy doesn't matter, right? We have 7-second attention span, 9 or 10. That doesn't matter. The
Mm.
point is we have low tolerance these days, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, tell me you have a 7-second attention span, and then go binge for 4 hours on Game of Thrones, right? You've got an attention span if what
Total.
you're watching or what you're reading or what you're looking at is interesting to you,
Yep.
keeps you engaged, and delivers on the promise of value, entertainment, interest, or whatever it is. So the goldfish short attention span thing is irrelevant for us marketers. What's
Right.
relevant is we have low tolerance as humans now for anything that is not interesting, relevant, reliable. Because if it's not, we know we can do one click to find something that is, or
I'm
we
out.
expect it'll find us, right?
Yeah.
Or we swipe
Yeah.
or whatever, right? But like we have
God.
no tolerance for crap or for something that's not interesting. So back to personalization, make sure it's interesting, make sure it's relevant, make sure it's the right time, but make sure it's also the experience they want to lean in on, or they're going to go next.
Next. Love it,
Boom.
man.
If I had a mic, I'd drop it.
Smashed. You took the mic and you smashed it, the myth, and then you just dropped it and it flew into the sky. That was awesome. I don't know if you looked at the clock. It's like a time warp.
I know. I feel like we've been here for 15 minutes, but it's probably been 2 hours.
Yeah, about that.
Sorry, it happens.
No, this is great. I mean, I'm here to learn, really. I mean, the only reason we have this podcast is for me to learn. I hope everyone else learns too. But no, this has been great. I've been taking notes over here. I got
Awesome.
tons of stuff over here. So this has been great. Thank you so much for coming here and just sharing this wisdom. It's awesome.
My pleasure. I thank you for the opportunity, and yeah, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. So press the damn button. Don't be scared to hit record. And happy personal video marketing to all of you.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Don't be afraid to hit record, and also don't be afraid to share this with someone else.
There you
If you
go.
heard anything today, share this with someone so they can learn that too. Get them over that fear of being on screen, hitting record. That's a great challenge. Do that this week. Do that next week. Hit record, try it out, 10 seconds. I don't even care. Just say hi, see what it looks like, giggle, laugh. Who cares? Just, and if you need inspiration, go look at the YouTube of this and look at me. And then, you'll be light years better. So this has been awesome, though. So everyone out there, this has been the Hardcore Marketing Show. We will catch you all next time.